Well, good afternoon. Today we are going to dive into one of my favorite tenors, in particular when he was young, Jose Carreras. Jose Carreras was a Spanish, or is a Spanish tenor, I should say, was a Spanish tenor who came up with a meteoric rise in the early 70s through the early 80s, was as big as anybody in the business, was singing, right on the same level as Luciano Pavarotti, as Placido Domingo, who was on just at the top of the profession, and you know, deservedly so. The voice was insanely, incredibly beautiful, and just fantastic singing. Sadly, he was diagnosed with a form of leukemia, a blood disease, in the 80s, in the mid 80s, at really the top of his career, and had to go through months and months. I think a year and a half or so of, of bone marrow transplants and all sorts of different treatments that really sapped his body. I mean, really took a toll on his body, etc. But he was able to beat it and come out on the other side in remission. But unfortunately, I think it did take a toll on his voice. Now, there are people that will argue with that and say that no, it was actually due to the fact that he sang very, very large, heavily orchestrated roles much too soon. When he was young, his voice was still essentially very lyric. He took on very heavy roles and sang, at very high decibel level, putting out just a ton of sound, and ultimately that took a toll on his voice. And the light that burns twice as bright burns half as long. That type of mentality. Now, I don't know specifically if that's true. I guess you could probably ask Mr. Carreras himself, and he could tell you, what he feels ultimately changed his voice or changed his singing. I mean, obviously, as we get older, our voices are less supple, and we have less elasticity. I mean, that's just a fact. But there's a significant demarcation between before he got sick and then after he got sick, as far as the quality of his voice and the level of the singing. But I'm going to celebrate and champion him at his top, when he was as good vocally as anyone on the planet. And I mean that's not hyperbole. Listen to this. This is La Dolcissima Figge from Adriana Lecouvreur. I'm going to play that aria first, and I'm not going to interrupt. I'm just going to play it and listen to it. I'll make a couple of comments, and then we're going to immediately listen to L'Animo Stanca from the same opera, the other aria, which is also incredibly beautiful. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on, some choices he makes musically, some choices he makes vocally, etc. And then I'm going to play you an excerpt from Tosca, which is it's not a video recording, it's a live audio recording from a live performance he did, and it's electric. It's the Vittoria Vittoria, which is a giant high B flat, and you can listen to what this voice was and why he set the world on fire. So without further ado, let's listen to Jose Carreras sing La Dolcissima Effigie from Adriana Lecouvreur. Here we go. Let's take a listen. Okay, so that is La Dolcissima Effigie from Adriana Lecouvreur. I think that this was that's Montserrat Caballé that he's singing with there, who was, God, she's an incredible soprano. I will be doing a video on her for sure, for sure. But I think this was a mid-70s probably production, 1975, 1976, somewhere in there. And look at the guy. The guy looks like a matinee idol. The voice is gorgeous. He's a great actor. He's got it all. He's got it all. Just incredible, incredible singing. Makes some interesting choices, actually. And you can hear how his approach to the passaggio is completely different than that of like a Pavarotti, or even like a heavier voice tenor like Giacomini, which I also did earlier. This same, I did L'Animo Stanco for him from the same opera, which we're about to listen to Jose sing as well. But he's in the upper middle there. He is singing open a lot of those. And he's got a big, full, round, beautiful voice, so it's not like it sounds kind of white or kind of washed out, which what happens with a lot of tenors that get up in the upper middle right before the passaggio and they don't cover, that start to cover those. Your voice can start to kind of lose a little bit of focus, etc. Well, Jose keeps it focused, and the transition into the top is just like almost immediate. It's less gradual with him, which is interesting that he makes that choice, but he does it so beautifully, and it's extremely beautiful singing and wonderful. It's fantastic that we have this documented, etc. So again, this is from the same opera, same performance, same production, right? Totally different feel to this particular aria, etc., but he sings it equally beautifully. Let's take a listen, then I'll comment on the other side. Yeah, of course they're going to applaud that, because that is incredible singing. And you'll notice in direct comparison or contrast to the way Giacomini sings this aria, a bigger voice for sure. But Jose's a big, full lyric tenor, and ultimately would become much more of a spintorish tenor later. Giacomini is full on spinto, or even tenore drammatico, so it's different. I understand that, but it's interesting me that choice that he makes, as far as the, he sings L'animo stanca era lontano, and then Giacomini would sing no, and then cover that, right? Jose saying no, 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 and does not cover that as much. It's more open, which is an interesting choice because he absolutely could cover the note. He chose not to do that. I'm assuming for dramatic effect. He was wanting to try to make it more declamatory. I mean, it's extremely passionate, full-throated, beautiful, amazing singing. He's using every ounce of his body to get that sound out and then to make that color, right? But it's just interesting. It's a different approach, but he had the elasticity and flexibility of youth working for him. He was in his mid-20s when he recorded this. So you can do that. You can do that when you're 25, 26, 27 years old because you still have that elasticity in your throat to be able to do that. When you get older, it's harder to make those transitions and to make those sound as seamless without doing a little bit of a more of a mix and a more of a cupo as you move into the upper middle or into the passaggio. But I mean, again, this is amazing singing. It's glorious. It's beautiful. And there's no question that he was as good as any tenor on the planet at this point. It's just, there's no question. So, all right, now let's listen to the Vittoria from Tosca, which is, I mean, it's thrilling to hear this from any tenor sing this because it's so amazingly written and orchestrated. Okay, now we're back and we're going to listen to the young Carreras sing Vittoria from Tosca. This is a studio recording that was done in the mid-70s, maybe 76, 77, I think 77, with Katia Riccardielli as the Tosca and a very young Sam Raimi as the Angelotti. And if you've ever heard, it's insanely incredible. This recording across the board is tremendous, in particular for Sam Raimi and for Carreras. I mean, it sounds incredible. So let's take a listen to this because it is fantastic. All right. Okay, so you get my point. That is insanely incredible. Young Jose Carreras was as good as anybody that has ever walked the face of the earth as far as what an amazing talent, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voice, incredible performer. He certainly looked the part. It was like a matinee idol, just incredible. Good actor. As I never saw him live perform anything other than on TV or whatever. I saw just these little excerpts, and I watched the tour run he did from the Met years ago, and he's very good. He's just an amazing performer across the board. He definitely deserved to be on that stage with the three tenors, in particular for what he brought early on in his career before he got sick was insane. It was incredible. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So take a listen to all of his breadth of work. He's done a million different recordings and has a bunch of different videos. And he's an extremely intelligent guy. I think he was like a chemistry major or something in college before he became a singer. And he's just extremely thoughtful and smart man. But he had this ridiculous voice and this incredible talent. And I'm so glad that he shared it with us and went on to the amazing heights of the career that he did. So, okay, without further ado, we are going to exit the stage left. Texas Tenor signing off. Ciao for now. Texas Tenor out.